Hey there, I'm Jordan, the managing partner of Kogneta. Today, I'm going to walk you through discovering how to profitably scale and grow your franchise every single month without having to needlessly waste marketing dollars on unprofitable and unproven channels. Now, if you're struggling with scaling your franchise's consumer and franchise development growth, then this will be one of the most important videos you'll ever see. No matter what size your franchise is, you could be an emerging brand with only a couple of locations looking to expand, or a well-established franchise that is looking for new growth opportunities. In fact, you could be in any industry, whether it's QSR, B2B, home services, or anything in between. This is going to apply to you. So, first thing I want to say is it's not your fault. There is a lot of noise out there coming from a lot of companies. You can see in the study done on marketing technologies each year that in 2011 there were only 152 marketing software companies. And in 2019 there are now close to 7,000. Thankfully, there are a ton of fantastic software companies dedicated to franchise marketing growth, such as FranConnect, FranSoft, Naranga. But these tools won't do squat for you unless you have the right systems and processes in place. So the question really comes down to is where are you in the growth pyramid? Are you struggling as a franchise to grow? Do you have zero franchise leads? Are you struggling to help your franchisees expand? Or are you surviving with a roller coaster growth? You could be humming along with a few people interested in your franchise system. In fact, you could be going through this feast or famine experience, which is very common in emerging brands with only a few locations. Or are you thriving, where you have consistent growth? Or even better, are you in that driving stage where you have on-demand growth? Well, most of the time, we're working with franchises who are in that struggling or surviving stage. Sometimes we'll work with brands who are in that thriving phase that just really want to fine-tune their marketing even more. But the big thing is that it all comes down to profitable lead flow. Okay, let's face it, this is really your lead domino in your franchise growth. If you don't have more leads, then you can't make more sales. And when you have lots of leads, a lot of good things actually do happen. Your franchisees are happy with more customers coming in. And even on the franchise development side, you're not scared to turn away any leads that may not be a good fit, whether it's financially or culturally. You can really pick the best of the best and the creme de la creme of leads coming in. So what we're going to talk about today is how you go from struggling and surviving into thriving and driving. And as a result, your franchise has consistent and on-demand growth. So this is the entire reason why I created a system called the Franchise Growth Blueprint, okay? This has taken me a long time to get this working, but I'm going to give you a shortcut so that you can learn it really quickly. This process you're going to see from a 1,000-foot view to understand how it works, and it's really broken down into a 3-phase system. The first phase of the Franchise Growth Blueprint is doing thorough research and planning. The saying of failing to plan is planning to fail is so true. You need to make sure that you have a distinct understanding of where you are and where you're going. The second phase is really that foundational development, and it is exactly as the name suggests. You're building a foundation of growth for your franchise. And the last and final phase of the Franchise Growth Blueprint is something that I like to call perpetual growth, where you use all the momentum that you've been building to take your franchise to the next level. And in each of these phases, there are 3 main activities that you're going to need to do. Now, keep in mind, and thankfully, a lot of these activities you won't need to redo again. It's only a one-time thing. So the first activity in research and planning is gaining an in-depth, comprehensive understanding of who you're trying to reach with your marketing. So right now, you're probably reaching out to everyone and anyone, which is not what you want to be doing, because not everyone is going to be a long-term happy customer or even a happy franchisee that's going to stick with you through thick and thin. Instead, you want to shift to a scalable and profitable way of growing by being specific with your audience. So a perfect example of this is if you compare a QSR and a fast casual franchise, right? So both of these franchises are selling food to hungry people, but their specific audiences are very, very different. Another example of this is if you're an emerging versus a well-established franchise system, right? So your franchisees are most likely going to be very different from one to the other. So what you really need to do is uncover who your most profitable customers are for your franchise and who your best franchisees are. And this market insights phase will do just that. So now once you've identified your audience, the next step is really to create a brand story that attracts and resonates with these people. So right now, the story that you're telling is probably all about you, right? When the reality of it is that it needs to be all about them instead. It needs to be how they will benefit from purchasing your franchise system or from being a customer for one of your franchisees. So this is a classic example of features versus benefits. You need to focus on the benefits that you're giving people rather than the services and product offering that you have. Now, this last step of the research and planning portion of the franchise growth blueprint is to implement your analytics and tracking infrastructure. So currently, you're probably generating all of this super insightful and actionable data, but it seems like an ambiguous black box. So in order to successfully grow, your decisions need to be based on cold, hard, factual data, and that is what this step is all about. You will unlock that black box, and you're going to start gaining really transparent insights into which marketing channels and growth channels are profitable for your franchise and how to start exploiting them. So once all of this is done, you're now ready to move to the foundational development portion of the franchise growth blueprint. So this first step is what I like to call having clear alignment across your franchise network. Okay. A lot of franchises I've worked with, both big and small, this has been a big area of concern, and most aren't aligned, which means you're probably having an inconsistent brand. For some franchises, especially the emerging ones, this can be especially difficult to make happen. Now, what I mean by having franchisee alignment is by ensuring that each and every single one of your franchisees in your network are all working together rather than against each other. So a few examples of this could be, is the same logos, colors, and branding being used across all of your marketing material, or are old ones or inconsistent ones being used? Another one is whether or not everyone is using the same words, verbiage, and tone in their copy that really reflects your brand and culture. Another big one that I see is each and every one of your franchisees really following those same marketing procedures. So what I mean is, if one of your franchisees receives a bad review, how are they going to respond back to it, right? Are they going to hurt the brand? Are they going to help the brand? So making sure everyone is aligned on these nitty-gritty details is extremely important in the type of alignment that you want. Now, once you have everyone on the same page, the next step is to start the growth levers phase. So by growth levers, I'm referring to what marketing systems and channels do you already have in place that you can leverage today rather than tomorrow, right? So this could be a variety of online and offline channels, such as SEO, social media, franchise brokers, franchise portals, if you're looking to grow on the franchise development side. So which channels can you start using or can you continue to use to generate valuable data that you're able to leverage to start identifying opportunities? So ultimately in this phase, what you want to do is start generating baseline performance data that you can then use in the next step of the blueprint. And that next step is opportunity exploitation. And this is exactly what you think it is. Based on all the data that you've generated in the growth lever step, you're now able to make insightful, data-driven decisions to identify low-hanging fruit opportunities that you can really start exploiting without necessarily wasting money by investing into unproven marketing channels. Now, once you're done taking advantage of all these low-hanging fruit opportunities, this is when you move on to the first phase of perpetual growth, and that is optimizing. So in this phase, you're going to go from seeing inconsistent growth to systematic and strategic growth, okay? So during this step, you're going to continuously test and refine each of your channels through data-driven optimizations in order to identify which channels drive the largest ROI for yourself and your franchisees. So this step is especially important as not every franchisee is going to have the luxury of a huge, big marketing budget. So by going through this perpetual growth phase, will be able to help those that are less aggressive with marketing get the biggest bang for their buck. Now, once you've optimized all of your marketing channels, the next step is to expand, right? What I mean by expanding is that since you are aware of which channels drive the most profitable growth, you're now able to expand and double down on them to drive growth even more. So you're going from unprofitable and stagnant marketing to profitable and predictable growth channels. You want to know that for every dollar you invest in each channel, you can confidently expect to get a multiple of it. So once you've finally expanded and maxed out each of your current marketing channels, the next step is to actually add. So you want to start to slowly and systematically add additional growth channels for your franchise system. So by doing this, you're moving away from erratic sales to being omnipresent for your franchise. Now, if you're wondering how do you do this profitably without worrying about wasting your franchisees' marketing dollars, all you need to do is repeat the perpetual growth process. So what I mean by this is for each new channel that you add to your marketing strategy, you want to start optimizing it towards profitability and then expand it until it's maxed out. And then once you've done that, you rinse and repeat the perpetual growth process, which gives you a proven and systematic way of adding new growth channels, both on your consumer marketing side and your franchise marketing side as well. So that is the 9-step process that we call the franchise growth blueprint, which I've used to predictably and profitably grow franchises by triple digits. Now you're probably wondering, Jordan, why the heck should I trust you, and does this actually work? So for those of you who don't know, my name's Jordan, as I introduced myself at the start of this presentation, and I run an agency called Kogneta. And I've been in the digital marketing industry for the past 15 years. In a previous life, I was working with big brands such as Dairy Queen and Volkswagen, helping them expand across Canada and the US in very profitable and systematic ways. And now I run Kogneta, and I exclusively work with franchises and I help them grow by triple digits. So, they say the proof is really in the pudding, so let me show you a few examples. So this first franchise that I've had go through the franchise growth blueprint, they've actually experienced a 69% improvement in their cost per acquisition. Another franchise in the B2B space, after going through the blueprint, they've been able to improve their conversion rate by 65%. So that's increasing the number of leads coming in by 65% without even having to increase the amount of traffic coming to their site. And last but not least, a franchise that I've worked with in the home services sector, they've improved their conversions by 700%. So this is a proven and systematic way that has been significantly battle tested over the past few years so that it works with any franchise, no matter how big, how small, or what industry you're in. Now, you're at a fork in the road. You can either continue down the path that you're going down with the hard and old ways of wasting marketing dollars, getting poorly qualified franchise leads, or you can do it the new way by using a proven blueprint to give you systematic growth. So what I want you to do is schedule a call with me. We're going to go through everything in finer detail, and more importantly, I want to learn more about your franchise and I want to make sure that this is right for you. And if it's not, I'm going to get you pointed in the right direction. But if it is, I want to go deeper into how you can start leveraging this for your franchise. So if scalably growing your franchise using the franchise growth blueprint sounds like a good fit for you, then book a time with me. There's a button right below this video. Let's just hop on a phone call and we'll walk it through together. And I'll be able to answer all of your questions so that you can really make an educated decision on whether this is a good investment for you or not. And until then, I hope you found this useful. And I hope you found this information valuable, and happy growing. Bye for now.